You're standing at an airport arrivals gate, watching a river of strangers pour through the doors. You've been here 40 minutes, your phone is dead, and your coffee went cold an hour ago. Then you see her gray hair, red coat, and that same walk you'd know anywhere. Someone you love. Someone you haven't hugged in 2 whole years. And before you can even lift your hand to wave, your eyes start to burn. Your throat tightens, your vision blurs, and a single tear rolls down your cheek. Nothing sad is happening. Nothing hurts. You are completely, stupidly happy. And yet here you are, crying your eyes out in the middle of an airport. Here's the part nobody tells you about happiness. Some of the happiest moments of your entire life will make you leak. A wedding where you sob at 2 people you barely even know. A graduation where a parent cries far harder than the graduate ever does. The end of a film so good, it completely wrecks you on the couch. All happy, all soaked in tears. And the reason your brain does this is genuinely insane. It involves your body deliberately playing a trick on itself. Stay with me. First, let's kill a myth. Your tears are not all the same thing. You actually make 3 completely different kinds of tears. Type 1, basal tears, the boring ones. They coat your eye all day long so it never dries out. You're making them right now, reading this, and you never even notice. Type 2, reflex tears, the onion ones. Chop an onion and your eyes flood instantly to flush the sting away. Same tears when dust or wind hits you. This is pure plumbing. And then there's type 3, the weird one. Emotional tears. Scientists also call them psychic tears. These are the tears you cry purely from feeling something. As far as we know, only humans make them at all. And this is exactly where it gets strange. Emotional tears are chemically different from the other 2 kinds. In the 1980s, a biochemist named William Frey started collecting people's tears. He gathered emotional tears and onion tears into tiny labeled glass tubes. Then he compared what was actually hidden inside each one. The emotional tears carried far more protein and hormones than the rest. They held stress hormones like ACTH, flushed straight out of your body. They held prolactin and a natural painkiller called leucine-enkephalin. In other words, your sad tears are literally draining chemicals out of you. Crying might be a pressure release valve for your whole nervous system. Which is lovely for sadness, but you were happy, so why the flood? To answer that, we have to look at how your brain handles feeling. Deep inside your head sits a structure called the amygdala. It's your brain's alarm system, and it's only the size of an almond. It doesn't really speak in words, it speaks in raw intensity. The amygdala fires on strong emotion, and it barely checks the label. Fear and joy light up shockingly similar circuits in your brain. Both of them make your heart absolutely pound. Both tighten your chest and blur your eyes. Your body throws almost the exact same party for terror and for love. Here's the key. Your brain measures how much you feel, not just what. And when the dial spikes past a certain point, the tears come. Happy or sad barely matters. What matters is the sheer volume. Scientists call this being emotionally overwhelmed, and they mean it literally. Your nervous system hits a level it simply cannot hold quietly. Something has to give. Something has to spill over. So your body reaches for the oldest release valve it has. It cries, and that is only half of the story. Because the tears are not the whole reaction your face is about to do something openly contradictory. When joy floods you, your brain often fires a second expression that looks like its exact opposite. You beam with happiness, and at the very same moment, your face crumples like grief. Opposite signals a single feeling on the same face in the same second. Psychologists actually have a name for this. They call it a dimorphous expression. Dimorphous just means 2 forms, one emotion quietly wearing 2 masks at once. And back in 2015, a researcher at Yale set out to prove this glitch was real. Her name is Oriana Aragon, and she studied the strangest version of this reflex. You have felt this too. You see something unbearably cute, and you suddenly want to squeeze it. A puppy so soft, you could almost crush it. A baby's cheeks you could almost bite. You would never actually hurt them, of course, but the urge is loud, and it is real. Aragon's team gave this feeling a wonderfully honest name: cute aggression. In one experiment, people were handed sheets of bubble wrap and shown photos on a screen. Half of them saw cute baby animals. The other half saw neutral, boring pictures. The people looking at the adorable animals popped far more bubbles than the others. The cuteness was so overwhelming that their bodies reached for a physical release. Not because they were angry, but because the good feeling was simply too big to sit still. So the brain pairs the joy with an opposite impulse, just to let some of the pressure out. Happy tears run on the exact same machinery. The emotion climbs too high, and your face answers with a signal that looks like sadness. You are not sad, you are overflowing, and the tears are just the pressure valve opening. Aragon described these reactions as the brain's own quiet way of coming back down. Here's the part nobody mentions. Your brain hates extremes, even the good ones. It is built to keep you near the middle, in a state scientists call homeostasis. Homeostasis is your body's obsession with balance, temperature, blood sugar, all of it. And it turns out your emotions have a thermostat of their very own. When feeling spikes too far in one direction, your brain gently nudges you back toward center. Picture a single dial with a needle calm on the left, completely overwhelmed on the right. Pure, sudden joy shoves that needle deep into the red. So your brain fires the opposite expression to drag that needle back toward the middle. Crying at joy is not the feeling breaking down. It is the feeling being carefully managed. The sob is a correction, like a pilot easing a climbing plane back to level flight. This is why the biggest, happiest moments are exactly the ones that make you leak. A wedding, a reunion, the second you first hold your newborn. All peaks, all corrections. The higher your joy climbs, the harder your brain has to pull it back down. And it has one specific tool built for exactly this job. It runs from your brainstem all the way down to your gut, the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is the longest cranial nerve you have, wandering through nearly every organ. Its main job is to slow you down your heart rate, your breathing, the frantic parts. Your nervous system really has two settings, locked in a constant tug of war. One is the accelerator, fight or flight, heart pounding, pupils blown wide open. The other is the brake, rest and calm, breathing slow, every muscle finally loosening. A huge wave of joy slams the accelerator, your heart races, your chest goes tight. Then, to protect you, the vagus nerve stamps hard on the brake. And crying is one of the ways it slams that brake. The moment the tears come, your breathing deepens and your heart rate quietly drops. That trembling, shaky, sobbing breath is your body forcing itself to exhale. Within seconds of the first tear, the storm inside you slowly begins to settle. You cry, and then, strangely, you feel lighter. That is the brake doing its work. So here's the trick your body promised you at the very start. When joy grows too big to hold, your brain deliberately fakes a little burst of sadness. It borrows the face of grief just to calm the roaring storm of happiness. It tricks itself, on purpose, to protect you from the sheer force of your own feelings. The tears are not a malfunction. They are the off switch you never knew you had. Your happiest moment and your body's quiet rescue mission arrive in the very same instant. Which raises an even stranger question. What does all this happy crying quietly say about you? It turns out the people who cry at joy are not the soft ones in the room. For most of history, tears got filed under weakness proof you had lost control. The science now points almost the other way. Start with empathy, the strange skill of feeling a feeling that isn't yours. To cry at someone's good news, you first have to feel it as your own. Your brain borrows a stranger's happiness and runs it straight through your own body. That borrowing even has a name: emotional contagion. The stronger it runs in you, the faster a wedding soaks right through. In one set of studies, the quickest to tear up at joy scored highest on empathy. They weren't drowning in their own feelings, they were drowning in yours. So next time your eyes sting at a stranger's proposal video, notice what it means. It quietly says your wiring for other people runs unusually deep, which is a strange thing to feel embarrassed about in a dark cinema. Empathy is only half of it. The other half is control. Remember, a happy tear exists to pull a runaway feeling back to center. That pull is run by a single nerve, the vagus nerve. It wanders from your brainstem down to your heart and gut, working like a brake. Scientists measure how strong that brake is and call it your vagal tone. High vagal tone means you can flood with feeling and still settle yourself fast. And here's the part nobody mentions. Happy criers tend to have strong vagal tone. The tears aren't the loss of control. They're the sign the brake is working. You feel everything at full volume, and then you bring yourself home. Studies even link that same brake to lower anxiety and faster recovery from stress. So the crier at the wedding may own the calmest nervous system in the building. The dry-eyed guest holding it together might simply be feeling less. Composure and depth of feeling were never the same thing. There's a third job your tears are quietly doing, and it points outward. A tear blurs your vision. For a few seconds, you literally cannot see clearly. Researcher Ad Vingerhoutz argues that blur is a message, not a bug. It says, "Right now, I am no threat to you. Come closer." Blurred eyes can't scan for danger, so a tear is a flag of pure vulnerability. And nothing pulls people toward you faster than watching you safely fall apart. That's why the airport, the wedding, and the reunion all share one thing. They're moments built entirely to close a distance between people. Your body raises a tear like a white flag of connection at the perfect second. Joy tears are almost never something you do completely alone. They show up for the people who matter, at the thresholds that matter. Empathy, regulation, connection, three strengths stacked inside one embarrassing leak, which forces a rewrite of the story you were told about crying. You were taught tears at joy were a glitch, a wire crossed in the brain. But a glitch doesn't come with its own painkiller, its own brake, and its own signal. A glitch doesn't quietly do three useful jobs at once. This is a feature one your body built before you could name a single feeling. Every time you overflow, three systems fire in perfect, unglamorous sync. You feel deeply, you steady yourself, and you signal the people around you. It isn't that you cry because you're happy. It's that being fully human is sometimes too big to fit inside one expression. So your body lets a little of it spill out through your eyes. Which brings you right back to where all of this started. A bright arrivals hall, glass windows, suitcase wheels squeaking across the floor. Milo stands at the barrier, scanning every face coming through the gate. And then he sees her short gray hair, a red coat, a small suitcase. His face does the impossible, a full smile and a falling tear, at once. Same tear as the very first frame, same gate, same overwhelmed second. The only thing that changed is that now you know what it's doing. Your happiest moments are simply too big for your body, so a little leaks out.